I'm not worrying about it.
Yep.
I'm in it for the long term.
All the way.
I'm worrying about my little income I'm receiving from them, so I can make my little money.
And if you're worried about the underlying asset performing,
and like pay all my stuff, that's it. Like,
if you're worried about the underlying asset performing, like MicroStrategy or Nvidia, then hop in there too and get your money up and be in both, you know, or just know why you're in YieldMax. We always say that. Like, don't be mad that you're not getting a lot of growth, because that's not what it's for. It's here to provide you a monthly income.
Like it's just income. It's called an income option strategy for a reason. If you're not worried about income and you're worried about growth, just buy the underlying assets.
Yeah. I done started from the small grind, turned it up major. I remember all the hard times, that's what made me greater. Done departed from the haters, got no time, see you later. Always finish what I started, that's what I call major. No, I'm major.
Let's save together. Episode 13.
13 guys. 13. It's YieldMax distribution day tomorrow, but by the time you see this, it'll be today.
Very, very, very true. YieldMax distribution day, you know, another year with the max. Wait, another month with the max.
Another yield with the max.
Another yield? That's what you said.
Yeah. Another yield with the max. I mean, you know, Nvidia, NVDY wasn't really as impressive, but it's kind of expected with the month that they've had.
Lowest distribution since inception, $1.25.
The other low one was $1.50, so.
I mean, like, Nvidia went from, like, $141 down to like $91, and now it's sitting around like 108, 105, 104.
Yeah,
it's like in the hundreds, right? In the low hundreds,
right around there.
And it's
right
like
now.
Even with Nvidia getting pretty banged up, like you're still collecting 5%.
Still paid more than majority of the other funds.
Yeah, it's still paying 5% a month.
Except the baby.
Like MSTY. You let me know where you're making 5% a month that you're getting every month like clockwork. Like I would like to know about that product too.
Yeah.
So like I can.
If it's not YieldMax.
So like I can tell everybody about it. So like I can like report on it.
Invest.
Yeah, it's like you know, like not everything is gonna be always you know, peachy, and not everything's gonna be perfect. But at the end of the day, you're betting on Nvidia, right? And at the end of the day, you're getting income out of NVDY. You know, just gotta keep it pushing.
MSTY, the baby, like still close to $2, $1.94.
$1.94. Like MicroStrategy is like hell of a company.
Hell
of a company.
And not only just like, you know, the YieldMax fund, but yet, like you said, like the company itself. I was just watching an interview actually. I thought it was interesting for us to watch it and for the people that watch us to watch it. So we're gonna put it on the screen real quick, and you guys can see what Michael Saylor was talking about.
It's a good company.
Who's the CEO?
It's a good company.
And former President Trump got behind the idea too. So it's a good idea. You think a strategic reserve for Bitcoin is a good idea?
Well, Thomas Jefferson purchased the Louisiana Territory for $15 million in 1803, and nearly double the size of the United States. Seward paid $7 million for Alaska. It's got $1 trillion of oil underneath it. Everybody's going to be doing business in cyberspace. Bitcoin is scarce, desirable digital property. It's a great idea to trade a little bit of currency or paper for some place that billions of people are going to want to be in 100 years. So, yeah, I think it's a great idea.
I mean, yo, you have to give it to Michael Saylor. Like, MicroStrategy is outperforming Bitcoin.
Since they made it I think they made it like their official asset and their reserve, right? But MicroStrategy did?
No, I mean MicroStrategy is built on Bitcoin, right?
Oh, yeah, they made it their treasury reserve asset in August 2020 when they officially adopted it as the primary. Yeah, I mean, from then to now, it's outperformed Bitcoin. And
so essentially for the people, like they started buying massive amounts of Bitcoins, and like that's like his main position.
Yeah, it's just proper terms.
I mean, that's what MicroStrategy is. It's Michael Saylor, like the #1 Bitcoin holder in the world, right? And he's just constantly
MicroStrategy as he's not, but
I mean he's constantly leveraging, like, you know, Bitcoin, and just constantly leveraging the company to buy more Bitcoin.
MicroStrategy's up 1,206% since August 2020. Bitcoin, if you would have invested in Bitcoin, you would only be up 442%. I say only. It's still a lot, but MicroStrategy would have made you more. And then, the S&P is 64% and NASDAQ 60. So it's, they're going to do what they do. But just to be able to say, well, why wouldn't you just invest in Bitcoin? I mean, there's a solid reason right there why MicroStrategy would have made you more money.
I mean, listen, like, you have to understand what this guy is really doing. He is constantly leveraging different debt and equity instruments to increase his Bitcoin holdings. So, like, this guy is, like, trading Bitcoin. They're buying Bitcoin. They're buying more Bitcoin. As it goes down, they buy even more Bitcoin. This guy is nonstop purchasing Bitcoin. Doesn't matter what you do, this guy is buying Bitcoin. And then now they're announcing a 10-to-1 stock split that takes in effect tomorrow.
Yes, that also takes effect in tomorrow.
And then like since when, like, companies, buy an underlying asset and then outperform the underlying asset?
That never happens.
Like
that'd be like YieldMax outperforming, like NVDY outperforming Nvidia.
I mean, like, Amazon was doing it for a while, but it's like AMZY.
Yeah,
right?
Yep, that was.
But this is like
shout out SoCal Steve watching videos.
Yeah, like, this is like kind of like a rare occurrence, and Michael Saylor is at the forefront of everything. This guy believes that Bitcoin is like the next best thing. He's outperforming the Bitcoin asset. He's outperforming the S&P 500. He's outperforming the NASDAQ. He's outperforming the Dow Jones. Like this guy's like strictly killing it.
He owns, like 750 million of Bitcoin himself.
No,
so
I mean, honestly,
it's crazy. He owns billion of the stock, so he's like all the way in on MicroStrategy.
Like, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the guy becomes like a top 10 richest person in the world.
And that video that
like,
we watched,
he's probably going to be one of the richest in like 20 years down the road. He's probably going to be one of the richest people on earth off of this Bitcoin strategy that he has going, and just buying Bitcoin and continue to leverage and increasing his holdings, and just like, this guy's all in on Bitcoin.
That video
there's nobody bigger than this guy in on Bitcoin. There's nobody bigger than him.
Nope, you're right on that.
Like, he's the biggest. Like, he's literally the biggest
Maybe
guy.
Other than the actual Satoshi, he might be bigger than him.
Yeah, but nobody know who. Like, who the hell is that guy? Nobody knows him. Like, if
it
if
could
you
be
know
him, bro.
No, it's probably not. But
I mean,
like, you have this guy. He's like,
I mean, they own more than 1% of Bitcoin. MicroStrategy is the biggest holder of it. He's basically, at the Bitcoin conference, he was giving up base lines, and then like the bear case and then the bull case. Like, he was saying,
like, he was given
for 2045.
Like, he was given projections for 2045.
Yep.
And he was
the bear projection, sorry, and bull projection. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was given like
$3 million for the bear. 13
Yeah.
million for the base and 49 million. And what we just heard with the Louisiana purchase, like, he is like comparing like how they paid at the time. It seemed like a lot, but as time went over, it was
no. I mean, he's
he's
letting you know about like compounding interest. Like,
Yep.
he's letting you know how these different asset classes are compounding over time. Everyone knows it's like a rule of thumb in finance. Like, hey, the S&P 500, you buy the SPY, you let it sit, you get 10% a year. That's what it's been doing for like the past 90 years. You get like 10% a year. But now you have Bitcoin that's roughly giving you like 55% a year. And then you got this guy, like Michael Saylor, that's like, yo, dog, MicroStrategy's going crazy. Like, this guy's getting you like 100, 200% a year on average.
It got clipped today, and then it's probably going to continue to get
Like,
clipped,
this
which is
guy-
why it's a great opportunity this next month, 2, 3 months.
I mean, this guy is he's explaining to you all the historical purchases throughout the world, and like all the historical purchases in America. And if you notice, like, he's talking about France selling Louisiana to the U.S. for $15 million.
Yep.
And
Yes,
now that's being valued at like $12 trillion.
Russia selling Alaska to the U.S. for $7.2 million after the Civil War.
Yep.
Now
and then
they
he's
had a
saying
trillion of oil underneath
that,
it.
$1 trillion worth of oil. He's just trying to explain
Like,
to you like the compounding factors
Right.
of why he thinks Bitcoin by 2045, at worst case scenario, is going to be $3 million a coin. And then he's saying his base case scenario is going to be 13 million a coin. And then he's saying if Bitcoin has like the best scenario, best situation, best everything, He's telling you it's going to be $49 million.
3
a
million
coin.
is even crazy. That's like a
No, I mean,
That's
it's
a crazy
not
fold.
it's not crazy because
I'm just saying, not
Bitcoin
crazy
is
to
like
get
a
there.
finite,
Yeah.
There's a finite amount of coins.
The percentage I'm saying increase is crazy.
Well,
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, you have to look at crypto. Crypto, what we consider crypto is like it's like digital gold, right? AKA like a store of value. But in reality, it's performing like a risk asset. So like risk assets, if you don't know what risk assets are, they're a bit riskier. Like we consider risk assets like a lot of the companies in the NASDAQ. Like, you know what I mean? These companies are going up, down. They're very volatile. They're more volatile than some of the more stable household names, in the Dow or in the S&P 500. So, but at the end of the day, it's a finite amount. Everyone knows the U.S. dollar loses value every year. So does every currency in the world. So it's not just a U.S. dollar thing. Every currency loses value, right? Like,
Yeah, true.
Like your parents are probably paying 50 cents to 75 cents for a gallon of milk. We're paying $5, $6, $7 for a gallon of milk now. When your kids grow up, they're not going to be paying $5, $6, $7 for a gallon of milk. They're probably going to be paying $20, $30, $40 for a gallon of milk. That's just what it is, right?
No
like
lie.
real estate goes up every year. The S&P 500 goes up every year. There's just
Keeping
life.
cash in,
Life
keeping
is more
cash in your bank is
life
not going to
gets
do it.
more expensive every year. So
The dollar decreases, and it gets more expensive. So, you're
So
like,
I mean, he's just pretty much letting you know, like, look, Bitcoin is here to stay. I'm all in on it. I don't care what anyone's doing. We have the best performing stock in the country, in the world right now. We're outperforming the best asset in the world because technically Bitcoin is doing better than almost every company you can think of on the yearly basis for like God knows how many years already. And Microstrategy is like piggybacking them and then leveraging up as it goes up and then leveraging more of their money in as it goes down. Like these guys are just hitting on all cylinders.
And even that stat that we said about it going more like, why would, like, if someone was out there like, well, maybe that's what it did, but it's not the future, or why wouldn't I just invest in like a Bitcoin ETF? There was this guy, Bill Miller,
Bitcoin
on
ETFs are
CNBC.
garbage. You can look at every Bitcoin ETF. You can look at every Ethereum ETF. I looked at all of them. So you're not going to tell me I'm wrong. I looked at all of them. They all are underperforming the actual assets.
And even in the future, there's no fees with MicroStrategy.
No, but I mean,
it's like,
more of the story.
even it's still going to go
like
more,
the
but yeah, little
ETFs,
things.
the ETFs, the Bitcoin ETFs, the Ethereum ETFs are all underperforming the actual tokens. So if you're thinking about buying Bitcoin or you're thinking about buying Ethereum, you're better off just buying the token, buying the coin, buying the actual Bitcoin, buying the actual Ethereum than buying any of these ETFs. The ETFs are all garbage. Don't touch them. Remember, I told you, don't touch them. They're all garbage.
Or really, you could just buy MicroStrategy because you're not only investing in Bitcoin, you're also investing in a business that provides cloud services and mobile software. So MicroStrategy doesn't just own Bitcoin, but they're also a business, in other aspects.
But I mean, they're like essentially like utilizing
is like
equity and debt instruments to build up their ownership in Bitcoins. Like they're like leveraging up.
Yeah.
Like that's the best thing.
100%.
Like if you're gonna jump into crypto, I would say buy the actual token, buy Bitcoin, buy Ethereum, buy Dogecoin, Litecoin, Shiba, whatever crypto you want to buy. Just buy the token.
Do your own research, please.
Leave the ETFs alone. Leave them alone. And if you're going to buy the crypto directly or just buy MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy is going to do better than all the cryptos.
And why we're really bringing this up, our yield maxers, that's what I say to maxers. But
I mean,
MSTY is the
shooter.
It's the underlying asset, and MSTY is even like how it's just been, kind of the market's been. It's still paying close to a $2 dividend.
Ridiculous.
Their strategy is more aggressive than a lot of the other funds I noticed because they're not putting as much in like the notes and stuff. They're kind of just putting it more in the. Like
Michael
Michael
Saylor is not just anybody. Michael Saylor is a genius. Like he's not like just anybody. Like this guy knows his stuff.
Yeah.
Like this is not like a guy that's like out here, like make believe or trying to get you to jump into ETFs so he can make high fees off you.
Yeah.
Like no, this guy is really doing it.
Yeah.
Like this guy's really doing it. He's staking the Bitcoins. He's leveraging them. He's doing everything under the sun to own as many Bitcoins as possible.
Yep.
Like,
I mean,
this guy's the real deal.
I mean, I'm going to try to get in a position in MicroStrategy once the kind of split happens. And I'm just thinking now how there was somebody today that commented what he said. Yeah, you guys got to, like, show what you have. Like, we believe in YieldMax, but, like, you know, we don't know what, like, how many shares you guys got. Somebody said something like that. Guys, whoever's listening, I got 1,200 shares of MSTY. I got just over 3,000 NVDY. So if you invest in YieldMax and you're listening to this podcast, there's people in our Discord that got more shares than me. There's some people that got less than me. The great thing about life is there's always going to be someone higher up than you. There's always going to be someone lower. But we're here not to be like, yeah, look at us. Like, we're such big dogs. Like, we're still growing. We're journeying. And there's a lot of other people. It's on the screen right here. I'm going to have him pop it up right there. You can see what I got, man.
I would say you have to learn how to, like, not, like, engage with everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Just like earlier today, you like, hey, could you comment on this guy? He's talking about
Snapchat. Because Snapchat's more your
Snapchat
thing,
on
yeah.
Instagram, right? And then I go to this Instagram page, right? This guy has 0 posts and 0 followers. I'm like, yo, Steve, like,
I didn't even see that. I didn't even see it.
You don't need to engage with everybody, bro. Like, we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah, nah, it's
you
true,
know,
though.
we're gladly sharing you information. We don't have to do this. We don't have to give you the heads up. Like, since we started the podcast, I've gave you a heads up on pretty much everything. And if you watch these videos right after or right before things occur, you're like, damn, that guy Anthony is really a smart guy. He's really putting me right there. Like I like choose not to engage with everybody. There's
true.
There's no purpose and no point. You know, but more of the story is it's like MicroStrategy is a really good company. Like, focus on that. MSTY, NVDY, we like them. They're distributing every month.
This might be
They're
some
not
of the lowest
missing.
yeah.
Like,
This might
like
be some of
they're
the
not
lowest
missing
times
payments.
for MVDY. Too.
I think when YieldMax actually misses a payment, a monthly payment, then that's when you should worry. I'm not worried about if 1 month they pay me 9%, then the next month they pay me 7%, then the next month they pay me 5%, then the next month they pay me 7%, then the next month they pay me 9%. I'm not worrying about it.
Yep.
I'm in it for the long term.
All the way.
I'm worrying about my little income I'm receiving from them, so I can make my little money.
And if you're worried about the underlying asset performance,
and like pay all my stuff, that's it. Like,
if you're worried about the underlying asset performance, like MicroStrategy or Nvidia, then hop in there too and get your money up and be in both. You know, or just know why you're in YieldMax. We always say that. Like, don't be mad that you're not getting a lot of growth, because that's not what it's for. It's here to provide you a monthly income.
like, it's just income. It's called an income option strategy for a reason. If you're worried, if you're not worried about income and you're worried about growth, just buy the underlying assets.
Yeah, it's
or
not
you
for
know,
you.
like when I tell people all the time, if you like Nvidia, go look at NVDL 2x.
Yeah,
Like, that's a 2x in Nvidia. So if Nvidia goes up 10%, NVDL goes up 20.
it'd be a crazy time to get in now.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, if you like those names, like, you can look at long-term leaps in Nvidia.
Oh, you know what I did today?
Like, I mean, like, literally, we put a trade out in the Discord today. Bought the $150 calls on Nvidia. Sold the 280 calls for December 2026. That's a $13,000 spread. $13,000 spread, and you can get in there for $1,600. So you put up $1,600. No,
got in there for
1,500
Yeah.
So like you get in that spread, you can get a 780% return over the next 27 months. So like, you know, we give our spreads, we give our plays, we give out a little bit of everything. It is free information, and anything we do talk about, all our information is super duper accurate. Like, there's nothing that I'm going to talk about that I don't know about. The only things that I talk about on this podcast is things that I truly know about. Like, you never really hear me stutter about things I'm talking about, or like get lost when I'm talking about things. Like, we kind of give it all to
And we got facts. Like, sometimes I say something, you're like, wow, like, I didn't know that.
Nah,
You
like,
say
I
some
study
things
these
that, like,
companies all day long.
Yeah.
I
No, I'm
study
saying
these
sometimes,
companies
like, with the
all day long.
millennials and Robinhood, we're like them having more millennials than any other brokerage. Little things like that you might not know it, but it's not like something where you're speaking. Well, we don't speak on things that we're like, well, we didn't sit here and do research on it. We're just saying it out of our ass. Like,
No,
I will never be like that.
No, I don't speak on anything I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, if there's fun facts that come of things that I don't know, cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, anything I talk about, anything I talk about in this podcast, I know it. So,
And if I've researched everything, so I know, like, what I'm saying is backed by CNBC is backed by big time people. So if I'm wrong, then they got to be wrong, which they ain't wrong.
Nah, yeah. Yeah, bro. Like, you got to learn how to stop acknowledging every single comment that you see. It's going to be impossible after the followers get up. That's why I don't even pay mind to it now.
Oh, yeah, no. But
I don't
you know
even
what
pay
it is?
mind
It's
to
like,
people.
I want to just, I might not respond to every single one because there is some, but there's certain people where you're like, you're not hating, but I see, like, maybe your criticism, I take it constructively with certain things.
Man, if they want me to talk, sign up for the Discord, man. If you go in the Discord, you can ask anyone in the Discord. I talk to everybody in the Discord. And I don't care what's going on. I don't care if you're betting $5, $50, 500, 5,000, 50,000, 500,000, or 5 million. I talk to you like I talk to everybody else. There's no exceptions for anyone. Straight up. And I'll structure any kind of play you're thinking of. I'll give you my general opinion, like my advice, what I would do, what I wouldn't do. Is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? You sign up for the Discord, hey, like I'm 100% there for you. Like you have my time.
You have a bachelor's in finance this time.
Oh, Lord. Yeah. Thanks for telling people once again from the fine University of Temple in Philadelphia. It's a beautiful school.
Because even like you seen the kid today, he asked a question in there. But he asked a question, but he also gave a statement of like, I've been looking for a YieldMax podcast. And I felt like I was alone. And then I came across your guys' page and we're like,
nah, I mean,
it's kind of true because there's no people sitting on a table with a podcast talking to people who are investors at YieldMax. Like, it's very rare. There's people like Retire on Dividends, SoCal Steve, who are like kind of in their house or wherever they're at. And they're, you know, more so on the camera on their phone, but nobody's like.
Nah, I mean, there's not. I mean, when it comes to finance and stuff like that, and like just like podcasts and just like shooting the shit and just shooting the breeze and stuff, there's not too many people doing that.
Yeah,
and I mean, I don't. Nah, there's none. There's not really too many people. You know, like we're big believers in YieldMax. Like the YieldMax distribution is today, obviously, right? And
most
you
tomorrow,
know,
but today.
Like we're in it to win it. And we're going to keep buying it, and we're going to keep going, and everyone around me is going to keep buying it and keep going. We're going to keep talking about it every month. We're going to keep giving you the distributions. We're going to keep looking at the charts. We're going to tell you when the RSI is under 30, when the RSI is over 70. We're going to give you every single thing that we can give you for anything that we're talking about, and all within 30 minutes, which is not bad at all.
Nice
and then we're going to clip it up and everything else, but...
I mean, because we sit back, we make sure we're, you know, taking the best parts for you guys to just listen to. And that's why a lot of people are, you know, messaging us and in the Discord and stuff, because it's just, there's no paywall. We're not like sitting here, we talk about the Discord, but we're not sitting here like, hey, if you want us to talk about all the good stuff and about what we're really doing, you got to pay. It's like, we're going to tell you here. So if you spend the 30 minutes and watch us, thank you guys, because, you know, we're talking about everything we're doing here.
Yeah, so so how do you feel about NVDL, man? Like it's just moving all around in the 40s, 49 and 45 and 42.
Well, I've been slowly piecing out of there. I still got a couple hundred, and it went down today, but I've been slowly trying to get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
How do I feel about it? Obviously, I put in the leap. I think these next couple weeks are gonna be pretty shaky. So it's probably a good time to try to get in there. And once that gets up to like $1.20, $1.30, you know, I don't know exactly where NVDL would be at, but I know it would be a lot more, maybe close to the 60s if it gets up there, you know. But how do I feel? I think it's a great time for people to buy and invest in NVDL.
Yeah, like I think when you're jumping into leverage products, you know, what is NVDL, TSL, when you're jumping into leverage products, you got to be in it to win it.
All the way.
And like you can't be like extremely aggressive at the wrong times. Like when they get hot, like you need to learn how to trim.
Yeah.
And when things go south, you need to learn how to buy. Like you need to learn that process and that function, like have that functionality to you.
You said something interesting about TSLL and NVDL because TSLL is such a lower price and NVDL, you know, Nvidia has really made the gains and Tesla still has a long way to go. Like using TSLL as a long-term investment and NVDL more as a short-term.
I mean, you have to use common sense when you look at these things, right? Has Nvidia been underperforming or overperforming?
Over.
So NVDA is what? Overperforming, right? So Tesla, has it been underperforming or overperforming?
Underperforming.
So what has TSL been doing? underperforming, right? So when you're looking at the L's, like you want to be like very subjective on things, right? So if you know Tesla's underperforming and it's part of the Mag 7 and you believe long term is going to do really well, then you would want to buy those L's. And if you see Nvidia has been overperforming, now it's like, you know, in a sideways range going towards down, more down than anything, maybe you buy into the NVDA, but maybe you buy a little lighter.
Yeah.
You have to just be like very humble when you're buying the L's, because remember, this is 2x exposure. So if you go up 10%, it feels good when it goes up 20% because of 2x. But if it goes down 10%, guess what? Your position goes down 20%.
Yeah.
So you're getting cracked right over the head, right? And like that's not a good feeling to lose money. I've lost a lot of money at one time. You've lost a lot of money at one time. It's not a good feeling. So it's like just understanding the processes on why you're jumping into trades is like good. Like we have all these names on the wall because we know that if you buy them over time, you're going to make money. It's not because we're like, yo, these are just random names that we picked up.
We eat here. We like this place, or you know, this is something we've seen that someone else is doing. Like we've looked into each of these names here, and
these are all household companies, all household names that you can build a life off. You can build a future off of it.
you see,
Like
here
just like if you're buying Microsoft, Apple, Google, those are solid household names. Those companies aren't going anywhere.
yeah,
Like if you're buying Bank of America, J.P. Morgan, big banks, you know the big banks aren't going anywhere. You buying ExxonMobil, Shell, BP, those are big oil companies. They're not going anywhere.
now the difference of
Procter
how much growth you're
Gamble,
going to get
Johnson and Johnson,
all depends, you know.
Yeah, but more of the story is we picked these names because we feel like these are going to be the outperformers in the stock market. That's why these names are there. Now, the YieldMax names just provide income for your pocket or for your bills or for whatever you need it for. It is an income option strategy. It does not mean that it's going to do better than the underlying asset. Does not mean they're going to be the best stocks in the world. What it means is that these companies can provide you solid income if you build up positions. And if you have Robinhood and you're building up margin, YieldMax is the perfect place to build that margin in.
Yeah.
So, you know.
And we only got 3 on here because that's just, you know, NVDY and MSTY. You could look all over online. You're going to see those 2 are more than likely in everybody's top 3. If they're not, then I don't think they're looking at yield.
I mean, honestly, like you can build your portfolio off the Mag 7. Like you should be fine. If you want to add some oil companies in there, maybe some Procter Gamble, maybe a couple YieldMax
in the sectors,
names,
you know. Yeah.
like buy some YieldMax names, the growth names. I tell you this: anything that's on the board behind us is gonna hit. It's I think it's closest thing to a guarantee. Cause I mean that's how I feel about it.
Shake Shack's back over 100, you know.
Yeah, I mean, after earnings a pop 20%.
Yep. You know the U Pro is just the S&P 3 times. So that's you know.
Yeah, like people. I mean, people
risky.
like to talk about the decay on the big leverage options and
100%.
Yeah, the big leverage ETFs
On the single stock or the ETF. Yeah.
Yeah, like they like to talk about that, but it's irrelevant, honestly. If you see these 2-3x ETFs outperforming and you're in them, trim it out. Trim out. You don't need to hold them to the end. Trim out.
Yeah.
Trim out. Buy the underlying asset. So there's a lot of things you can do. You know, just take your time. Don't rush through it. August is typically a fucked up month. You know, it's a lot of ups and downs, more downs than ups, and you know the market's gonna probably be range bound for the next 6 to 8 weeks, probably. And you know, there's really not gonna be like too much going on. But I'll tell you this: there's a lot of names that are discounted right now.
Great time to build up some capital and strike, and then for a long time.
I mean, a lot of the YieldMax products right now are discounted, so I know a lot of you guys have been in Discord like, hey, what am I supposed to do? It's 2 things. You either build up position more, build up that payment more, or just sit on your cash. And for anyone who's looking for like a new stock pick add to their portfolio, I would highly suggest you look at super microcomputers in the semiconductor space.
Down 20% today, right?
Yeah, it's down like 20% after earnings. I don't think it lasts. And they just announced a stock split, and the stock used to be I think like 70% higher from here, maybe like less than 2 months ago. So there's a lot of opportunities out there. Whatever household names or whatever big companies that you see have strong balance sheets and that are getting beat down, nibble up, buy up, or really build up some household positions in there.
Yeah.